Hi there, this is Rob, and today we're going to continue our grid-based quilt designing and how it works. And the first block, I've printed out several different blocks to show you the basic techniques of if you go to a quilt show or you see a vintage quilt somewhere that you want to copy that, or even if you see a perfect design in a tile mosaic or whatever, you can design your own quilt using the very basics. So what I've done is I've started out with the Lemoine Star. And most people know this. This is a very old block. We usually do this with 45-degree triangles and set in pieces. But the modern way is to use half-square triangles to create your block. So what I'm going to do is show you how to break this block down. So what you're going to do is count your blocks, what you think would be a block. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we know that by having a 4, this is 16 pieces. So we have a 4 patch and a 4 patch. So what we're going to do is we're going to break this in half. So we can divide 4 by 2. So we're going to break this down in half. Now you'll see we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a 4 patch, this is a 4 patch, this is a 4 patch, this is a 4 patch. So if this is a 4 patch, so we're going to break this down again and cut it in half. And there's your simple block. A solid half square triangle with your solid, half square triangle opposite color with your solid, and your opposite and your 2 primary decorative half square triangles. So, and obviously you're going to repeat this 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So you need to make this exact block 4 times. This person has used different fabrics around, and that's okay. But see, we've simply broke this block down for you so that you can see that basically how you're going to work on this is you're going to build a 4 patch, you're going to build the second 4 patch, you're going to build the third 4 patch, and then you're going to build the 4th. And how I would put this together is I would sew this 4 patch to this 4 patch, and this 4 patch to this 4 patch, and then right sides together, sew down the middle, and you have your perfect star. I hope that makes sense to you, because a lot of people seem to get confused with this. But we go to a more difficult block and we can do this. So we're going to put this, and this is an off-center star, and this one was hand-pieced. So we have a half square, a quarter square, and a quarter square triangle here. But we can still break it down into those half square units. So what do? We count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can break this down into a 4 patch or a 9 patch, and it would become, I would actually do it a 9 patch and a 4 patch, but you could do it a 4 patch, a 4 patch, a 4 patch, 4 patch, 4 patch. You could do it with as a 4 patch and then create a 9 patch at the end, or you can create 4 9 patches and sew it all together. And that basically depends on how you want to make this block. If you want to actually use this half square triangle with the quarter squares, I would do it 4 patch, 4 patch, 4 patch, then a 9. But if you're going to do it the same way and try to keep everything into half square triangles, so what we're going to do is draw a line down, because we know we're going to end with the 4 patch. We're going to draw a line down the center, and then we're going to draw a line across the center. Now we have our 4 patch, and we have now 1 2 3, 1 2 3. I'm sorry, 1 2 3. 1 2 3, and that's how this will work. So here we're going to break it down. Here we have 1 here, and then we have a line here, and then we have a line here, and we have a line here. So we have a solid, a half square triangle, a solid, half square triangle, half square triangle, half square triangle, half square triangle, there. And then we go down to the next, and we have, again, 1, we have 2. So we have 1 2 3 across, and then we have 1 2 lines. So we have another 9 patch, which is half square triangle, solid, half square triangle, solid, 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 half square triangle there. And then you put this together in the 4 blocks the same way. This block to this block, this block to this block. But with all these points, you need to match them all up so you get those pretty points and corners and to get this block. And I hope this makes sense, because actually with it broken down in half square triangles, this would be an easy block to make. So if we did this with 2-inch finished blocks, which is a standard size, using your 2.5-inch strips, 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches. So this would come out as a 12-inch block, finished. The only thing is you have to worry about cutting extra for all these half square triangles, which would be 2 7/8 instead of 2.5 for your seam allowance. And then it becomes, you either have to cut very, very accurately and sew very accurately, or you can cut 3 3.25-inch strips and then make your half square triangles and cut them down, but then you have fabric waste. And it's up to you how accurate you want it all to be. So we go to another block, which again is a 9 patch in a 4 patch, or a 4 patch in a 9 patch. And I would probably, the reason I showed you this, because this is basically the same layout as this block, but this one is so complicated you want to work into the smaller, simpler blocks, and 9 patches tend to be easy. But this one, because of the piecing, you probably want to work in 4 patches and end with a 9 patch. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw our 9 patch, and that's why I chose this block. Here is we draw our 2 lines, and the reason is you do this is for this piecing, because this becomes a single block, so you have less fabric waste. So if you use, again, 2-inch finished squares here, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Again, a 12-inch block. But so this would be 2, 4. This would be a 4-inch, which would be 4.5 inch, which would be really easy to cut. And then, of course, these blocks become solid, half square, solid, half square. And these can be done the same way. Solid, solid, or you could cut a rectangle and then make the actual flying geese unit, or you could create the flying geese with the half square triangle method. That would be up to you. And this makes this block easier to manage. And what I want to keep you considering is, when you break these blocks down, either in a 9 patch or a 4 patch inside the block, then they become more manageable, not so daunting. Because a lot of people would look at this block and go, no way, Jose, because of the half square and the quarter squares, because that's what they see. But if you break this block down into its components, then it becomes easy to manage for you. And basically, like I've always said, 95% of all quilt patterns can be probably made with a square and a half square triangle unit in combination. And these are really old quilt patterns, and I'll post them in my Friday quotes so you can have them for your layout. Now see here, again, we have another one, and obvious this is a 9 patch. I mean, obvious this is a 9 patch. But most people would be turned away from these little quarter square triangles here. And there are methods to make these, and we can discuss them, and that's the old way, and if you're hand piecing, they become really, really easy. But if you're working with a sewing machine, it becomes easier to do half square triangles in a 4 patch, which we turn back to this block, is basically this one with the triangles turned the other way around. So, and we break it down that this is obviously a 9 patch, this one. And you would want to work because of all these pure square blocks in this 4 patch in the center. Those would be easy to make. Once you get this down pat, like I said, you can make it half square triangle, solid, solid, half square triangle, and you're done. And now we see, I wanted to show you this one, because a lot of people make this as a quilt. And this is typically very large blocks. So I wanted to count this for you. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 9. So this would be 9 by 9. So that's 81. So this is going to break down into 9 patches. But if we do that, we come across, we got 1, 2, 3, and we come across here, and then we come across here, and my lines aren't perfect. 1, 2, 3, come across and down, 1, 2, 3, come across and down. So you'll see this is a 9 patch and a 9 patch. But it basically boils down to half square triangle, 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 half square triangle. So this is just a whole block of 9 patch half square triangles put together. And with some planning, so if you did this at 2, so you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18-inch finished block if you used 2-inch finished half square triangle block. If you went to 4-inch half square triangle finished blocks, you would have 4 times 9 is 36. So this would become a small quilt size, 36 inches square. If you went to 5-inch, then suddenly it becomes a 45-inch. And you can see how if you escalate the size, and what most people do, and this one they haven't, they match these two fabrics so it becomes a faux star quilt with the diamonds with the faux diamonds. And it's a beautiful, fun, quick quilt. And all it is 9 patch. So it would be 9 half square triangles, whatever size. If you made them 5 inches and had a 45-inch finished block, which is basically quilt size, lap quilt, then you would need to cut your blocks at 5 7/8 with perfect cutting, 6, 6 1/4 inch, and have some waist, and you would have a magnificent quilt. So this is what I wanted to go over, and I hope this helps you, because once you break these down, and it's amazing, all of these quilts, blocks, 99% of the time break down into a 4-patch or a 9-patch, and work on it one section at a time. And you can take your time. You can be as accurate or as messy. This could be scrappy and just with the white, or a black background would just be so vibrant and beautiful. And you'd have a quick, easy quilt with no issues. You could make this with 5-inch charm squares and use the half square triangles, so a 1/4 inch from the middle on each side, and then cut in half, and then trim yours, and it's going to end up being like 4 1/2, which is going to give you around a 40-inch. I'm not calculating it on this video, but it's that simple. That's all you have to do, is break down your blocks into their sub blocks, and then it becomes manageable. It becomes easy. It becomes not so daunting. And that's what scares a lot of people. So I want to wish everyone a good week. I hope this helps. And we will see you again next week. Bye for now.